Interest groups play a significant role in shaping public policy by lobbying, electioneering, litigation, and influencing public opinion. They represent various causes, industries, and groups of people, working to ensure that government decisions align with their interests. Please consider subscribing to this channel to encourage better content creation and future updates. We appreciate your support in advance. Please subscribe. Interest groups and their role in democracy. Definition. Interest groups are organized groups of individuals who share common objectives and seek to influence public policy. They operate at all levels of government, including local, state, and federal. Types of interest groups. Economic interest groups represent business, labor unions, agriculture, and professional organizations. For example, U.S. Chamber of Commerce, AFL-CIO. Public interest groups advocate for causes that benefit the general public, for example, Sierra Club, ACLU. Government interest groups represent state and local governments seeking federal funding or policy changes, for example, National Governors Association. Ideological interest groups promote specific political ideologies or social values, for example, National Rifle Association, Planned Parenthood. How interest groups influence policymaking. A. Lobbying. Lobbying is the direct attempt to influence legislators and government officials to enact or oppose certain policies. Who are lobbyists? Individuals hired by interest groups to advocate on their behalf. Many are former lawmakers or government officials. Methods of lobbying: providing legislators with research and expert testimony, drafting legislation to be introduced in Congress, meeting with lawmakers and staff to persuade them, organizing coalitions to show broad support for policies. For instance, the pharmaceutical industry lobbies Congress to prevent government price controls on prescription drugs. Next, let's talk about electioneering and campaign contributions. Interest groups seek to influence elections by endorsing candidates who align with their interests. They also fund campaigns through political action committees, or PACs, and super PACs. These groups engage in various campaign activities, such as running political ads, phone banks, and get-out-the-vote campaigns. For example, the NRA spends millions in campaign contributions to support candidates who oppose gun control legislation. Litigation and amicus curiae briefs. Interest groups use the court system to achieve policy goals. Litigation involves filing lawsuits to challenge laws or policies they oppose. Amicus curiae briefs, on the other hand, are friend of the court briefs submitted to provide expertise in court cases. For example, the NAACP Legal Defense Fund played a crucial role in Brown v. Board of Education in 1954, which led to the desegregation of schools. Grassroots mobilization and public opinion. Interest groups often mobilize the public to pressure lawmakers. Organizing protests, rallies and marches, running social media campaigns to raise awareness, encouraging members to contact legislators, phone calls, emails, petitions. Example: the Women's March on Washington advocated for policies related to women's rights and social justice. The revolving door phenomenon. Many former government officials become lobbyists after leaving office, giving interest groups insider access to policymakers. This can create ethical concerns about conflicts of interest. Regulation of interest groups. To prevent corruption and undue influence, the government regulates interest group activities. Federal Regulation of Lobbying Act, 1946, required lobbyists to register and disclose their activities. Lobbying Disclosure Act, 1995, strengthened disclosure requirements and defined what counts as lobbying. Federal Election Campaign Act, FECA and Citizens United versus FEC 2010 allowed unlimited political spending by super PACs, increasing interest group influence. Interest groups versus political parties. An interest group's purpose is to influence policy, whereas political parties' purpose is to win elections and govern. An interest group's members are focused on specific issues, whereas political parties' members are focused on a broad coalition of voters. An interest group's tactics include lobbying, litigation and donations, whereas political parties tend to nominate candidates and form party platforms. In summary, interest groups play a vital role in shaping government policies. While they can provide expertise and represent diverse perspectives, they also raise concerns about elite influence and political inequality. Regulations aim to balance their role in democracy while preventing corruption.